And welcome back. Thank you very much indeed. This is TV3Newday. It's your best morning show. We're live on air every Monday to Friday. And Bella will come up with a conversation later. We're asking what the red flags are. What red flags should you look out for in a relationship or a marriage? And we will show you a video of a bride who sat and watched while her husband was in a very uncompromising situation with very dangerous dance moves with another lady who had come to invite the groom to dance with. But thank you very much indeed to Grand Park Clothing for my outfit this morning. 020-985-5696. Again, 020-985-5696. They are in Dantaman and Accra, but they deliver across the world. Connect with Grand Park, get something special for yourself. And also, congratulations to Kofi Otre Dako and the team at 1957. Yesterday, Rhythms on the Runway 21 was launched, the masquerade, and it was a very, very fantastic event last night. Also, if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. Sad one indeed this morning for my brother, Mr. Moses Mingle, who would lay his wife, Victoria Mingle, to rest this morning. Sad, sad one. We wish the family a deepest of condolences, and also we pray that the good Lord will comfort them and will grant them peace. So we will all converge at the St. Joseph the Work Anglican Church this morning to bid Victoria Nama Mingle farewell, and then also to pray for the repose of her soul. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. I've been joined in studio by Awal Mohammed. He is the Public Relations Officer at the Youth Employment Agency. He is also a member of the NPP's National Communications Team. And joining him is Abbas Nuruddin. He is a member of the NDC's National Communications Team and is also the Ashanti Regional Communications Officer of the NDC. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Johnny.
You are smoking.
Yeah, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
And it's good to go local.
It's okay. Awal, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice smoke.
Thank you.
But you wear them alone. I hear you. Anyway, let's kickstart the conversation. Yesterday, the management of the Intercity STC said that the company is losing some 2.4 million cedis every single month. Following the closure of the borders. They say some of their fleet that would have to go across the borders, will have a difficulty there. We'll get to that particular story and discuss whether or not it's time to activate the borders at this point in time. But let's check out what's happening on the front page of the dailies this morning. And the daily guide is the very first one. It starts as off, says Nana opens 7 factories in 2 months. Also, KGL Foundation partners GFA Juvenile League. And Railway Authority in land grab. Veep charges African governments to ensure education access. Baumia fets lepers on his birthday. The Daily Graphic, mining training heads north. Government commits to stringent regulation. And police addressing security in cocoa sector. Also, Saki is first female AMA boss. And more through support behind the LGBTQ plus bill. The guide, the crusading guide, weekend crusading guide, I should say, religious bodies threatening government over anti-gay bill, LGBTQ plus blues, and Cybersecurity Act demonstrate forward thinking and leadership. Also, Exim Bank Ghana pillar beyond 1D1F success, CVM convener. Works and Housing Minister inspects housing projects in Accra. The Informer newspaper is next. It says sex warns Ghanaians against investing in weird capital markets. Gender minister sacked. Well, told her leave has been extended. We don't know about being sacked. Akufo-Addo promises to transform Ghana, and I'll help MPP break 8-year cycle. Public anger looms. Netiwo you can't shower argument worsens matters, and TOR investigate product losses. Are they product losses or products that got missing? The Ghanaian Observer, Ghana on the verge of bumper maize harvest, and Ghana Exim Bank commended for success of 1D1F program. Veep Baumia celebrates 58th birthday with cured lepers. Government to regulate emerging mining industry in the northeast sector, according to the Lands Minister. The Ghanaian Times, 227,920 Ghanaians blind at the pre-launch of World Sight Day. It falls within the domain of Agenda Minister again. Partner for Ghana Burkina Faso Railway Project to be selected by December. Mr. Amewu, I remember that in the early days of the Akufo-Addo's first term, said that we're going to have a rail line under Mr. Joe Gatti from Takrady to Paga. Well, we're told that a partner for the Ghana-Burkina Faso rail line will be selected by December. It's been 5 years. Anglo Afiada Nyigba robbery, 10 suspects so far grabbed. And first female MC for AMA in 125 years. Weekend today. 1 vote ahead of 2024 polls. Our votes not for homosexuals. The Church of Pentecost is threatening CSOs of state institutions. Samir Uku, Director General of the NLA, and also there are some fashion photos on the front page there. Well, thank you very much. I think that's about it for this morning. Let me begin this conversation. For first, take a look at what the General Manager for STC, Nana Komia, had said about losses that the STC, the State Transport Corporation, is recording monthly.
Generated by our Francophone operations. We have a big terminal in Abidjan, a big terminal in Cotonou, and a terminal in Lomé, a terminal in Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. And those operations give us about 2.4 million cedis a month. Now, with the closure of the borders since March 2020, every month we lose 2.4 million cedis. So that has been a big handicap, weighing us down like a millstone rather.
According to the managing director, the company is struggling to pay salaries and keep up with daily expenses. He said the company is working towards increasing its terminals across the country and is hopeful the borders will be opened soon.
I agree with the government policy to provide safe, decent transport for Ghanaians. But the other components too, the cost components, are not controlled. If you look at my fuel bill at STC, in the last 3 years, the fuel bill has doubled. Well, yes. So it's a major issue that we should be looking at the current level of fares, especially for the biggest commercial routes.
The company is poised to lead in the road passenger transport industry in Ghana and the ECOWAS sub-region.
That's Naneke's report there. Nuruddin, let me start with you. So borders have been closed. We've been told that it is for our own safety to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, the STC, and I'm sure they are not alone, they're telling us how much they are losing monthly. 2.4 million. That's huge. If you multiply that by 12 months, 240. That's a lot of money.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Let me say a warm good morning to your good self and Awar Mohammed and our cherished viewers out there, particularly to the NDC youth organizer for Asante Achim North. He recently had an accident, and also a member, an assembly member for Hwidiam constituency. He's watching. Eric Boateng, Honorable, let me wish him a speedy recovery, and his deputy, Dauda Wellington. Johnny, the STC was one of the companies or industries that was established by Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to render intercity services to the various regions of Ghana. But at some point, it nearly came on its knees as a result of the various years of military rule and mismanagement of the company itself. But under President Mahama, the STC was given a new lease of life by the change in the management structure and the procurement of new buses, new Scania buses, about 100 of them, to ensure that the STC is well resourced to compete favorably with other private transport companies like VIP. And before the NDC left power, the STC has been turned into a very viable, lucrative, state-owned enterprise, and it has become a living testimony that with the right kind of investment and the right kind of leadership, state industries can also be profitable. I think one particular personality who should be given commendation was Mr. Nyama Donko.
Right.
He turned the fortunes of STC around. I think when Nana Kumia took over from him, he acknowledged his exemplary leadership, and Nana Kumia also took over
he added a lot.
and did a fantastic
New
job.
coaches.
And now a once thriving state industry is being brought to its knees as a result of government's, if you like, some insensitive government policies. And this particular, the laws that STC is currently witnessing brings to sharp focus the wisdom of the government's decision to close our land borders.
It's for safety, we're told.
Whilst our airports are open. Johnny, you and I know that the prevalence rates of COVID in Burkina Faso, in Cote d'Ivoire, and in Togo is almost non-existent. But Ghana has a solid economic connection with some of these countries. A lot of traders in Kumasi and Abosokan and other areas get their products from Togo. A lot of people import drinks from La Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria. A lot of people bring rice and other things. So the closure is not only affecting state institutions, but the private sector as well, especially when the reason for the closure is a bit difficult to comprehend. Europe, America, which is the epicenter of COVID,
Right.
our airports have not been closed. People from Europe, people from America are able to get in, and as a country, we've been able to put in some measures to get them tested and all of that. Why don't we open our land borders and apply similar safety protocols so that companies like STC that are almost on their knees as a result of this singular government policy will again be resuscitated and be profitable as it used to be. Then again,
the government says it's looking at modalities, and once they are okay with it, we'll activate the borders.
Then again, it also raises issues as to how the revenues that state institutions, the profits they make, are used. At some point, we were told STC was making a monthly profit of over 2 million Ghana cedis. That is more than 20 billion. If they were allowed to retain like 30-40% of them, they could have fall back on that revenue in these difficult times. But hey, everything goes to government chest, and when the company falls into difficulty, it becomes difficult to run. So we sincerely hope that government will work around the clock to resolve the situation, to find new ways of generating revenue for the STC so that they will not collapse, and some people will make a case for it to be divested. I think one particular model that has given hope to some of us, that Ghanaians, that state enterprises, if well managed, can be profitable, has been the STC.
Right.
If we allow it to also go, it will become a model example that will be used to divest state enterprises. And I don't think that is a very good example that any of us would be proud of.
All right. So this is the man who has been celebrated to having brought in new coaches, giving STC a facelift from where Mr. Donkor left off. And he acknowledged what his predecessor had done. But we also acknowledge what Nana Kumia had done at the STC. Now he's telling us that, look, 2.4 million every month. That's no joke. Why won't we just open the borders?
Thank you so much. Good morning to our numerous viewers, and good morning to my brother from Kumasi. And it's been a long time that we have met. Yes, it's true. You will say that why not open the border? But the reasons attributed to the closure of the borders still holds. Because I remember that when we closed all the borders, we said we're using data and science, and national security is also advising on the number of people that enters the country and so on. So it still holds, but the only elixir that I believe will help is when we're able to meet our target of vaccinating 20 million by the end of the year. The moment you do that, when you are even opening, you will be rest assured that indeed they will, at least when they come in, they will not be able to infect
That
a
20
lot of
million
people.
figure doesn't look like the target now.
Yes, but if you check what Dr. Nsiansari said last week, I remember he gave a litany of the doses that will enter in this country by the end of this year. And he gave about 17 million that we anticipate that it will come into this country by the end of the year. So we'll be able to vaccinate a lot more people. So if we are able to get this, it will be able to help us say, now we're safe enough to open the borders. Again, yes, Nyama Donko started something, but if my memory serves me right, he bought 50 fleets in 2016, not 100 as Abbas has said. Okay, so when he took over,
already been
okay, right. So if you check what Nana Akubia has done, indeed he is to be celebrated because if you check the new terminus that he has added, for instance, the Kumasi terminal, which is very, very viable. Initially, when you are in Kumasi and you are coming to Accra, you will only have to go to where they are. And there are no trotros that run there. So definitely you will not get people going there. Now he moved the thing to Asafo, where you go there almost all the time. You have fleets and you have cars coming to Accra. And if you shuttle between Kumasi and Accra, you know that STC has been working there. Again, I don't know where Abbas got his information from that everything goes to the consolidated fund. That is not how STC is run. I know,
how is it run?
Yes, I know that they retain because there is some private involvement. So they retain and later pay proceeds to government. You remember somewhere in 2019, they paid $1 million to the consolidated fund as part of the monies that they have gotten. And again, Nana Kumia, in his speech yesterday, acknowledged the fact that government has given them 10 million Ghana cedi to supplement as COVID-19 support.
Well, we are losing 2.4 every month.
That's true.
That for me is the focus.
Yeah, that is
Should
true.
we keep pumping money and not getting back?
They are not running, they were losing that amount of money, but he never said that we are running at a loss. He opened these border shuttles and they are able to work and they are able to post a lot of profit. Now we're losing it because of COVID-19. COVID-19 has taken a toll in on all economies across the world. And if you think of the revenues that you get, one of the reasons why Trump was voted out was when he was thinking about opening up the business without necessarily thinking about the people, the livelihood of people in the country. So what we're doing is that, yes, we're losing this amount of money, but I'm saying that the only solution to this is when we're able to vaccinate a lot more Ghanaians.
The airports are open, so we can, for example, test people at the STC terminal before they board and test them from, if you like, say, they're coming from Burkina Faso before they get into our country.
Yeah, that can be done, but you and I
So
are witnesses to the fact that people come through the airport and still complain. That when they came, they were not vaccinated, they were not treated well. Some even said that when they came in, they were asked to go and sit in a hotel. Later they came and there was nothing. A lot of stories, even from the airports. These are kind of middle class people coming. And they have all these complaints. When you ask the ordinary Ghanaian to be going to Cote d'Ivoire and be coming back and you'll be vaccinated and so on. Yes, it has taken a toll in the livelihoods of people living around the borders because they enter and buy and come. But it's also a matter of public records.
I thought the health minister said the virus has come to stay, so we should learn to live with it.
That is why I'm saying that if we are learning to live with it, we will have to vaccinate a lot more people so that when you're opening up your borders for people to come in or go out, it will be easier for you to know that
until
at least
that time we keep losing
2.4
million every month.
But there is nothing you can do because sometimes you only have to grin and bear.
If you had your own business and you're losing 2.4 million every month, would you be happy?
I only look at the livelihood of people in the business because if you check on only profit, you will not be making more sense because a state is not a profit-making venture. We are into social profit. The social profit, the protection of the human resource is also very important, especially when you have a very healthy population. It helps you more than having post a lot of profit.
The workers of STC risk not being paid.
He never said that because
he wouldn't say that.
Per my checks,
he never said that.
He never said that they are running at a loss. I know, you know, Nana Kumia, who will speak his mind even if it doesn't go for the government. You know him. And if really he's posting a lot of losses, especially to the extent that they will not be able to even run, he will tell you. But he says
so for you, all is well at the STC.
I didn't say that because...
But what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that all is not well, but until we're able to vaccinate a lot more people, we'll not be able to open up.
And I'm saying that,
like that.
So Nana Kumia had done well, opened some other border terminals. We are losing 2.4 million every single month.
Yeah, he's saying that he's now expanding within the country. Well, he expanded to the border countries.
No doubt, but I'm saying we are losing 2.4 million every month.
Yes.
Per Nana Kumia's testimony.
Yes.
So this could affect workers' salary. Yes. This could affect other stuff that IGF could have helped to achieve.
Yes.
And I'm saying that, are we not worried that we could get him back to the situation before Mr. Donko and Nana Kumia got him?
Yes, but we are in a pandemic.
Are we?
Are we not?
Well.
Is COVID-19 still not there? We're in a pandemic. And there are certain things, as I said, we only have to grin and bear. Because there is nothing you can do. You only have to look at a way around it. We can have a conversation around it and see what you're saying. That if we can still vaccinate people or check people's cards at the entry and when they are also leaving and so on. There are things that we can do. We can have a conversation around it. But for you to say, let's open our borders because we're losing such amount of money, you have not even checked the livelihood of people around. Okay. And it's also affected. I remember that a lot of people had even to demonstrate and say that they want the borders opened so that they are able to go and trade and come back. All these are happening, and you know that it's because of COVID-19. Government will not just, because at least these resources, in 2019, he paid $1 million to the state. And we're all happy. Okay. So we'll be happy that next time you also pay another 5 million or 10 million.
The simple question that comes to me is that if you go to the STC terminal or any other bus terminal, you are asked to make your queue and socially distance.
Yes.
You're asked to wash your hands and wear your mask. When you get onto the bus, there's no social distancing. In an air-conditioned space, which the data and science has told us that in an air-conditioned and closed space like that, the virus spreads quickly. So what is the argument? On one breath, we are saying we can't open the borders because we are in a pandemic.
Yes.
And then the second thing, we are cramming up people into a small bus, same space, no social distancing, and we still say we are in a pandemic.
I don't know which bus does not have that social distance. Initially,
have you traveled in an STC bus before?
Yes, I travel in a STC.
And there's social distancing in there. The social distancing.
3 on a row, 3 on a row. One here, two over there.
So the two who are sitting down close together, is there social distancing between them?
But you see, at a point in time in this country, we said that in the 3 buses, 2 must be in.
No, I'm talking about present situation.
And now we reviewed it as and when we feel necessary.
So I'm talking about now.
I'm saying that when they reviewed it, they felt that now we'll be able to do that.
You are making the argument.
Yes.
You are making the argument that we are in a pandemic.
Dragging the issue.
And then the fact that we cannot activate the borders and you raise all those data and science issues.
Yes.
I'm saying that in the bus, before you board the bus, you socially distance, you wash your hands, you everything else.
But you see, in the borders, it's not about social distance.
When you get onto the bus,
yes,
you sit together. In fact, we do know that people come in and out every day anyway.
At the borders, it is not a matter of social distance. Okay. At the borders, it's a matter of entry.
Okay.
People entering into this country, and we suspect that they may have COVID-19.
But people enter anyway.
People enter through the airport.
Yes, they enter through the airport because that is regulated.
I hear you. Nuruddin, take a final bite on this. I'll give one minute.
Awal started by seeking to refute a point I made that most of the monies STC acquire as profit is usually paid into the consolidated fund. He saw that was a factually inaccurate statement, but he ended up...
No, you didn't say that.
He ended up coming...
You didn't say that.
Please.
Johnny, don't misconstrue my words.
Okay.
I said, what you said was that when they push everything to government, they cannot retain anything. And I said that they retain almost everything because they use it to do the administrative work. But when they post profit, they send it. When they post profit, they send it to government. Right. And in 2019, it happened. Okay. But they retain almost everything because I know there is some private involvement. And you cannot just pay everything into the consolidated account.
And Johnny, what I was talking about was profits, because clearly it's the profits of industries that are sent into the consolidated fund. Administrative costs are meant for the running of industry. Right. So I don't understand what my brother
state agencies,
I don't understand.
State agencies
I don't
pay
understand
everything into returns.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Hold on. State agencies that are profit making.
Yes, that are profit making. That does not have any private involvement. They pay everything and retain a percentage for the administrative purposes.
I don't understand why my brother Awal is dragging.
But they get allocation, don't they?
They get. That's what I'm saying, that they push everything there, then they get allocation.
You see, whatever they retain is not meant to be kept somewhere to be used in difficult times like this. They are to be used either to pay dividend to private shareholders or as administrative costs. So that I did not see the need for
wrap up on that for me.
And then he said until COVID goes away, the borders are not going to be open. Then it means we are going to be in serious trouble, because what serious government does when pandemic of this nature, they find a way around it. You go to Europe, you watch football in England, and you realize the stadiums are full. Not everybody in there has been vaccinated. Last year, you told us by 7-8 months' time, almost 80% of the population...
October, this month, yeah.
Almost 80% of the population would have been vaccinated. As we speak, not even 30-40% have been vaccinated. So if we are going to live with COVID for 10 years without getting more than half of our people vaccinated, it means government is not going to take the critical decisions that will get industry running, so that companies will run at a loss and fold up, so that people's livelihood will be lost. This is not what we vote government for. We vote government to sit on the table and think critically to find solutions to our challenges. And that is what we expect the Akufo-Addo government to do.
So the point of interest has been raised here that if, for example, the buses are coming to Aflao, the people stay in the buses or on the bus for 3 hours with themselves. They don't know where they're coming from. They possibly cannot contact trace and all of that. It's obvious you can't wear the mask for 3 hours in that enclosure. 3 hours. Now, people are coming from all over the country and they are connected to all parts of the country, vaccinated or not. And so the argument is that if you put the protocols in place, then you are able to regulate and run the businesses, because the livelihoods along the borders are being affected adversely. Now, the companies itself, including STC, 2.4 million, it should shake you.
Yeah,
is it not?
It does, but I'm saying that what your argument, I don't really know how you're situating it. We live in this country. As we said, there is social distance.
Right.
We are supposed to observe it.
But not on the buses.
Government, no, I'm saying that government cannot regulate almost everything that we do in this country. We live in an enclosed country where you can go wherever you want to go. At a point in time, we had even lockdown. Now we eased it.
Lockdown was just in 3 places.
Yes, but I'm saying that
Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Kaswa.
Exactly. Yes. But at a point in time, we have to ease all these things. And at a point in time, even the buses, they were not taken to full capacity.
But now they are.
They are, because we felt that some people are also losing out, especially the bus owners. They are losing out. So all these, but if you open the borders, there are people who are, foreigners will come in. That is what we are afraid of.
But there are people whose livelihoods also depend on people coming in and going out.
That is true.
Just like you're concerned about the bus owners, you should be concerned about them as well.
That is true. That's why I'm saying that, because we are in a COVID-19 pandemic, we will only have to look at it critically, look at what we'll be able to protect, and the rest will only have to see a way around it. There is nothing government can do to say that let's open the borders because some people are losing out. But what if a lot of people come in and infect our people, they also die. And that's also a challenge to us.
I see. Well, you're losing also on taxes, I should say. And let's get on to the next conversation. Yesterday, I had a mail from one of the, or if you like, a group of young people who are NAPCO beneficiaries. It says, good evening, sir. I trust you are doing very well. Is it possible that you could add your voice to that of trainees' plea for permanent employment on your morning show? I think our story can be replayed for as spaces to ask government about the way forward for the exiting trainees since government decision to employ a new set of batch. No official communique from the management as of now. All information circulating are rumors. Trainees are totally confused. Your NAPCO trainees who are due to exit the scheme this month are worried government will not keep to its promise to absorb them into permanent work stream. Awa,
yes,
you made a promise to the people.
Yes.
97,373.
That's true.
Almost 100,000 young people. What is happening? Why are you not retaining them as you promised?
When we're giving them the employment opportunities, we never said we will retain everyone.
Okay.
We said they will be on it for 3 years. You did a lot of interviews with Dr. Anyas when he says they are supposed to go on it for 3 years contract. After the 3 years contract, there will be an exit strategy. As part of the exit strategies, the agencies that will receive the beneficiaries, if they feel that there are vacancies to be filled, then they open it up for them, and they will be the first people to be given the opportunity. I remember that in November 2020, yes, in November 2020, those under GRA went and wrote aptitude tests, and some had been absorbed. Again, I know that some at the MMDAs, around 11,000 of them, also went through some interviews, and they will also be absorbed. It's not everyone that we said they will be absorbed, even from day one. That is why we gave them 3 years contract. And if he is to send his contract to you, you will see that he has to go through for 3 years. We said one is that in this country, at a point in time when we even introduced the NAPCO, there was graduate unemployment. It became something that even in 2016, you remember the campaign, throughout the campaign of 2016, even Mahama, when he was campaigning, said that when he is voted to power in 2017, that time he will be able to employ a lot more youth in this country. You remember when we came in, there were some conditionalities with the IMF that you cannot employ within the public sector. And if that is the case, how do we go around it? In going around it to employ the teeming unemployed youth that has a backlog of 5 years without employment, let's have a scheme to hold them on. At least if the person works with GRA for 3 years, he has 3 years experience with GRA. That will propel him to go anywhere to work with an experience. Because in this country, even at Media General, I know that before you even employ people, you look out for their work experience. But
if you have given people 3 years work experience, why won't you retain them?
That is when the agency is able to retain.
Because the argument is that you say you cannot retain all of them, but you are bringing in a new set of employees, and you are keeping them.
I don't know where they are, where the particular institution that they are saying they are bringing new set of employees whilst they exist. Because I remember when GRA opened up, they said it is only strictly NAPCO beneficiaries.
Okay.
And they wrote aptitude tests. No one came from outside. You can check, you can cross-check from your business desk. And this thing happened in November. They wrote it. So if there is an agency that says that will not be able to absorb you and regularize you as a staff, but we are able to bring people from outside, you can mention it. I don't remember any of the agencies that had NAPCO beneficiaries having people to come from outside to be on.
I hear you. So what hope is there for them now?
You see, you have been on it for 3 years. You are still on, and there is an exit strategy, as we said. If the agency that you're working on, because the plan and the contract with the agency is that if there is any vacancy, the first opportunity should be given to those who have worked with you for 3 years. And again, when you work for 3 years and acquire all these experiences, I'm sure you should be able to find a way to get yourself engaged in doing something. Because government cannot...
Something like what?
Depending on what the person will want to do. Because I remember at Youth Employment Agency, it started in 2006 when we said, let's engage them for 2 years. After 2 years, the person can move on. And we've been doing this over the years, and a lot of them have moved on. And some
they moved on to what?
Some are in school, some are in police, some are in nursing institutions, some are even retained as casual workers in the hospitals and so on. So I know that a lot of them will be employed, because I saw a circular that says that by the end of October, a lot of the
do you have the numbers now, the numbers that have been retained presently? Do you have the benefit of the numbers?
Honestly, if you had told me we would discuss this before even...
by Youth Employment Agency?
No, we work separately.
Okay.
The NAPCO office is under the office of the Vice President, and the Youth Employment Agency is under the office of the... is under the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations. Right. If you had told me before,
I'm sure you get messages, so you can find.
I'll speak to
fetch that data for me.
Yes, I'll try and get it.
Let me engage Nuruddin. You can fetch that data for me. I'll be happy to learn what the figures are. So the NAPCO beneficiaries are expressing fear. They say this month it ends and they don't know where to look. It's more like they're between the rock and a hard place. What do you say,
Johnny? I think one thing that has been a major feature of this Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government has been the shameful levels of inconsistency by their major spokespersons on some of their flagship policies. Johnny, in a wild submission, he said the MPP never said they were going to give permanent jobs to all NAPCO personnel.
That's right.
You said all.
On their appointment, when they were appointed.
Why do you keep... Why do you
in their contract?
You said that.
Why do you keep shifting the goalposts?
I said in their contract.
Allow. He said
John, if you go,
contract that
go online,
we're going to retain all of them.
Wontumi online.com.
Okay.
The last time I checked, Wontumi is a pro-government network. He said, in an interview, I'm quoting the relevant portion, in an interview with the Deputy Finance Minister on Wontumi TV, the Deputy Finance Minister stated that NAPCO trainees will be made permanent soon as part of government drive to create permanent employment for over 100,000 NAPCO. This is Mr. Edubuahin speaking. So Mr. Edubuahin, who is the Deputy Finance Minister, is telling the whole Ghana that all the 100,000 people will be gotten permanent jobs after the end of their 3 years. Here you are, Awa Mohammed, telling us government did not say that. So between you and Mr. Edubuahin, whose word should we take? This level of inconsistency, this level of outright lies is very sickening, and it indicates a certain lack of respect for the Ghanaian populace. Then again, Awal said during the time that we enrolled on an IMF program, there were conditionalities, but what he failed to tell is that there were other areas, other essential services where government was allowed to recruit. During the time that the IMF program was in vogue, we employed about 101,000 teachers, 73,000 nurses, and public sector workers who went on retirement were replaced. So if you want to talk about the facts as it pertained during the IMF period, you have to be as factual and precise as possible.
So there was, there was not a freeze on
employment. There was not a total freeze.
But there was a freeze.
There was a freeze in some department, but there was not a total freeze as the MPP want to have us believe. And during the period that we engaged in that IMF program, about 200,000 people were employed, mainly teachers and nurses. You see, Johnny, one issue that has the potential to threaten stability and peace as a country is youth unemployment. And if you look at the statistics from the population, the just ended population and housing census, almost more than 50% of our population are youthful. And one thing that is associated with countries with youthful population is the high demand for employment. So as a country, I think we need a bipartisan objective youth employment policy that will transcend the tenure of various political parties. Over the years, what we have had in place has been stopgap ad hoc measures, which is not even recognized by the International Labour Organization as employment, because the International Labour Organization defines employment as a form of engagement that is gainful and sustainable. Gainful in the sense that they are paid something substantial to that is proportionate to the kind of work they do, and sustainable because there is that security of tenure. If you are employed, you know you are going to work for the next 30 years, your SNITs and everything will be paid. The MPP brought NAPCO, and the NDC we had JIDA and YEA, and the MPP they have NAPCO, YEA, and we brought JIDA. All these admittedly are stopgap measures. I think as a country we need to have a youth employment policy that will absorb the teeming youth of this country. And are we done? Let me. I think I spent most of my time.
I quickly want to come in here and talk about the fact that national service has ended for one stream, and another stream is coming on board. I've read the national security strategy that talks about a youth bulge and unemployment, which means that the government is aware of the numbers. We saw what happened at the various recruitment centers for even the YES event. We saw for the military, we've seen for police and all of that. Now, the numbers are growing by the years. Year on year, the numbers are coming up. And we seem to be sitting pretty. That is a national security concern.
It's because of the lack of candor and sincerity on the part of key political actors, like we are witnessing on your platform this morning. You see, when the MPP came to power, the then senior minister in a public engagement said the public sector is choked. I lie? I lie? Mr. Osafumafo. Then the president later came to tell us that he was going to push 100,000 of NAPCO personnel into the public sector. These clear contradiction in the commentaries of the president and the senior minister indicated a certain lack of commitment to tackle the problem of youth employment head on. And as we have realized today, it has turned out to be one of the highfalutin, bombastic political rhetorics that President Akufo-Addo is known with, just throwing around words without any meaning.
How do we cure it?
I think we all know the solutions, and it has been said over and over. I don't know whether it will have any meaning if we say it now. You and I know that the public sector has reached its limit. We have about 800,000 people on our payroll now, and everywhere you see a robust economy, you realize the private sector is the engine of growth. So what government does is to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. And you create this enabling environment by putting in place certain incentives like cheap access to credit. Ghana, we have a competitive advantage in the area of agriculture. Why is agriculture not lucrative to the youth? It is because government has not made it a cautious effort to provide access to cheap credit, tax waivers on machinery, to guarantee a certain minimum price for the produce that are usually bought, to ensure that people who go into agriculture do not run at a loss. And I think one area that President Mahama did quite well was in the area of supporting the private sector to be able to absorb more. A typical example is the rolling out of over 30 billion to the pharmaceutical industries to produce antiretroviral in this.
I hear
in
you.
the country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abbas.
Like
$10 million to the poultry industry, and also came with a deliberate policy that nobody will be allowed to import poultry products unless he buys 40% from the local market.
I hear you. Thank you very much. You have spoken
Johnny,
enough.
you asked me to speak to.
Yes. Did you get the figures
so I got
for NAPCO?
the PRO for NAPCO, and this is what he has sent me. 3 exit schemes are available for the trainees.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship, further learning, and permanency.
All right.
The trainees were asked to choose from these 3 options. They did so. We are in the process of exiting them on the exit schemes they chose.
Okay.
Then he said, currently we have about 60,000 on the scheme. About 38,000 have been exited into permanent jobs. This is Tahiru. 38,000 have been exited into permanent jobs.
Permanent jobs.
Yes, this is Tahiru.
Did he add the sectors?
No, he didn't. But I'm sure maybe when you have him here one day, he will be able to break down and tell.
So it's 38,000.
38,000 that have been.
Now respond to the question of the youth bulge, national security implications. NSS guys are finished now with their service to the nation. They are looking for jobs, either in the private sector or public sector. The NAPCO guys who are left, the 38,000 now, you have told me. So now we have more than 60,000 looking for jobs.
Yes. That will be exited into the schemes, like entrepreneurship.
Okay, well,
and the permanency. That is, the permanency is 38,000, and entrepreneurship will.
I'm putting my figures together.
Yes.
Plus the backlog of teachers.
Yes.
Who have written their licensure, completed school, done their national service, but do not have work to do. Nurses, add the figures.
So,
what do we do with them? You are a youth employment agency, PR.
Before I get there, Abbas Nuruddin sat here to lie through his teeth and say that they employed 73,000 nurses. The 2015, the extended credit facility started in 2014. The 2015 nurses were employed. 2015, 2016, 2017 nurses were employed in April 2017. These are matters of public records. In 2017, they came here at TV3 to demonstrate that they completed school in 2015, and they were not employed. It was in 2017 April that we employed the 2015 batch. So how many of them even exit nursing training colleges in a year? That you're saying that you employ 73,000. This is a palpable lie. Again, he said teachers 100,000. For where? You even employ teachers that you pay them, they are not even paid lump sum. They get three months. And for 2 years they are not paid. We came and paid all the arrears and so on.
I hear you.
On this, when you check Daily Guide today, you see that when the president went round, the president within the last 2 months has inaugurated 7 factories. And this is a factory that will absorb a lot of the graduates. The industrialization agenda by the president is where a lot of the Ghanaian youth would get employment opportunities. Again, if you check the
they will
policy
absorb
rate,
the graduates as what? Factory hands?
To work there, depending on their because the 60,000 that you are talking about, or 80,000 that has come out from, there are people from the technical universities, and a lot of them will work in the factories and so on. There are HRs and so on that they work. So at least a lot of them will be absorbed there. Again, if you check the policy rate, under the Mahama, he said the government is supposed to create the enabling environment. This government has really created the enabling environment. That today, the interest rate has come down drastically because under Mahama, the policy rate, the rate at which the government lent to the banks was 25.5. Today, it is 13.5. The average lending rate under Mahama was 30%. Today, the highest lending rate in any bank in this country is 24%.
But if you bring the lending rates down and you government goes to borrow from the local people, because they also believe that the local banks believe that once they give the money to you, there's guarantee, and that if they
that
give
is
to
what
me,
was happening under Mahama. That was what was happening under Mahama. That's why they were not giving out loans. Go and check. GCB is running a promo.
Government is not borrowing from local banks.
Government is not borrowing from the domestic market.
This is something that has been happening over the years.
So government is borrowing from the local banks.
But the rate at which government borrows from the local bank has really reduced drastically. To the extent that today they are calling on people to come for loans. I am with Ghana Commercial Bank, and Ghana Commercial Bank is calling on me to come for loan. When you even use the Achimota stretch, you see when you get to the Tesano Police Depot, you see signboards of Ghana Commercial Bank calling on people to come because they are running a promo to December.
Do you know, you're talking about entrepreneurship as well. Do you know that even after the banking sector cleanup, non-performing loans are still existent?
Yes.
And in large quantities.
Yes, but you see, now I'm saying that.
So what did you clean?
The lending rate, the highest in this country is 24%.
I agree.
And the list is 15.5 by Carl Bank. So Media General can expand, can go for loan and expand so that they are able to absorb a lot more youth. And under the one district, one factory, a lot of factories are coming on because government is creating the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive so that they expand, then they are able to absorb a lot more youth.
I hear you. Thank you. I'm Alidu Wahidu coming from the Upper West region. I'm a newly qualified teacher. Please, it seems GES has forgotten about the last batch of diploma holders who completed the college in 2020. We are almost finishing completing our national service, but our portal is not yet open for application to be for permanent staff. Meanwhile, our staff, senior staff, said they started theirs in the middle of their national service. This English is dangerous for a teacher. Coming from a teacher. Well, the closure of the land borders is only to force the poor masses to transact business through our airport so that we can be charged for that so-called testing period. Osman Bukri song in Tamale. Good morning, Johnny. I like the way you talk about the sodomy case this morning, but I want to say it's not the member of parliament for the area who paid for the medical bills, but it's rather an NGO called Developing Kids Ghana. I'm told by Christopher that they collaborated to pay that. Food, accommodation, and transportation. Please, if you want details, we have details. Christopher shared that with me. But thank you very much for the addendum. And good morning to you, Mr. Bright Apia of Child Rights International. I know he also has an interest in this particular matter. Good morning, TV3. Okay, I think those supporting or championing LGBTQ activities are strong hidden members of the LGBTQI group. They are themselves gays or lesbians and bisexuals, etc. Their private lives must be scrutinized from Bloody Efiekuma Zongo in Takradi. Good morning, TV3. Day in, day out, Ghana's problems keep aggravating and no president seems to have a permanent solution to these. Elite capture by our political parties like NPP and NDC. The youth of this country are getting angry and will get to their neck one day. Efo Afaka Godo from Mafidove in the central Tong Adidome Volta region. The bumper harvest will be the dream of a century. Maize will record a standard average price of 400 Ghana cedis per 100 kg bag in 2022. Fertilizer costing 260 Ghana cedis per 50 kg if available. So production cost has increased and farmers must recoup. The situation looks bleak and cereal storage will hit us like a baseball bat. George in Wa. Good morning, Johnny. STC's problem is mismanagement and not because border has been closed. Border closure is about 15% of its turnover. They have actually engaged more staff as against the number of fleets running, and all these are party faithful. Their overheads are more than their revenues. Simpliciter. And I heard this somewhere too, but we'll get into that detail. Good morning to you. Bella, Ghana is a secular state which does not warrant or us to adopt certain cultures which is against our societal norms as Ghanaians. Young adults exhibit high level of indiscipline in all because they belong to party A or B, as if the laws are not working. I think it's time for us to use the laws to bring down the high level of indiscipline in the country. Aaron Kokomisa Babako. AU Farouk in Tamale says, seriously, for me, the news from Men's Gold to start paying customers from December to next year, June, is totally a scam and fabrication to give its customers a mirage of hope, but time will tell. Mr. Black, Christian Borg, good morning, team. New day. Kindly ask the ECG to explain the current doomsaw in Osu. It may interest you to know that their call center located at Osu Akwaje most times run on gen set. Interesting times ahead. ECG, the name behind the power in Ghana. Wishing all a fabulous weekend. Good morning, Johnny. Awal Mohammed is one of the reasons why this government is filled with deceit and lies. I weep for the teeming youth. Good morning, TV3. Johnny Hughes and Bella. When I wake up every morning to hear about the sodomizing of these boys, I weep in my heart. As for GES, they are our own enemies. enemy. They have nothing to offer teachers but just to bring teachers down and sack them. God will judge them for all teachers unless taking well, that's what you're saying. I've not heard from the teacher unions as well. I'm sure if Mr. Natoma had won an award, the teacher unions would have spoken, just like the GES. Maybe a final one. Says, good morning, Johnny. Please tell Nuruddin to stop hearing, but listen. Likewise, nobody should be heard on NAPCO apart from the CEO himself. He should try to get the contract letter and read and understand. Abdul Zati from there. And this one says, I work with GRA as NAPCO intern at Kumasi. We went for the interview at GRA head office and nothing positive came out of it. None of us NAPCO personnel were employed. We were there in the office and new staff came in while none of the NAPCO personnel were employed. That's what he's saying there. Ambassador Sampiale also sent a message, and I'll share that with you as well. Mamaga Ablajifa Gomashi has also shared some message with us there, and she's one of the proponents asking for the borders to be opened. I can't find Ambassador's message. Sorry about that, Ambassador. I'm sorry. But thank you very much, Nuruddin Abbas.
Final words.
You want final words? 30 seconds each. AJ will beat me today.
I think there is this document authored by Dr. Insian Sari at the time he was the chief the
Ghana Health Service,
GHS. Director of GHS, and he states all the employments that were made even under NDC. So Awal can refer to that document. My regards to Comrade Wisdom and Comrade Mashoud, all of Asante Achem Agogo in the Ashanti region.
I hear you. Yes, your closing thoughts.
Dr. Nsiasari never said that in 2015 you employed anyone because they had to go and pick it. I'm saying that the extended credit facility started in 2014. In 2015, you did not employ the nurses. In 2016, you didn't employ them. It was April 2017 that we employed 11,000 of them.
So how come
this
there are figures?
Matter of public records.
Okay,
These are the figures.
Thank you. Since you have decided not to agree, I'm grateful. John says STC cannot pay its staff. Simple. That is what he is saying. The ambassador found your message. Using the COVID-19 pandemic as a reason for closing land borders is like closing our sea. What pandemic allows us to have huge state functions? The land borders are not affecting the only STC, and only STC is collapsing the economy of Ghana and killing local communities like those at Agaveji, Salakope, Amutinu, and all the rest. Why don't we simply set up the same health facilities at our inland border entry points as we have done at the airport? Food for thought. But thank you very much for your time this morning. A few birthdays that have come through quickly. Cyril Kofi Agbanu is a senior emergency medical technician at the International Maritime Hospital in Tema Community 3. Also, a happy birthday to Emma Opong, popularly known as Mama E, Aviation Security Officer at the Ghana Airport Company. And a happy birthday also, well, I'm sure when we come back we can do that. I'll be on Community Connect on 3FM 92.7 at 9 a.m. We're discussing rent wahala. You, your landlord, your landlady, your rent, and matters arising, your agency fees, the agents who roam down with you. We'll be talking about all of them on Community Connect on 3FM 92.7. Thanks to Grand Park Clothing at Dansuman for my outfit. 020-985-5696. Call them now. See you after the break.
Thank you.